Good evening. It is. Oh, Martin's in the wrong place.
We're all over the place. There we go.
We weren't a second ago. We got moved.
I know we were in the right place. Anyway, it is season 6, episode 33 of the Plastic Crack podcast. And look, there's 4 of us.
There's 4 of us. Yay!
Is Ken there? Oh, he is moving.
Yeah,
he is moving.
yeah. Sorry, yeah, I am. Yeah, I keep forgetting I'm on my phone, so I can't switch the tab. Apologies. Sorted now. I've sorted that. I've sorted that post. I've just done it.
Good.
So yes, absolutely fantastic. We're all here together for the first time in age. Does that mean the world comes to an end or something if the 4 of us come together?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
The portent of doom.
Well, it is usually when Ken's here, and I'm really nervous with tonight's topic. He's gonna say something about women's sanitary products or something. Anyway, right. It is Monday night. Thank you everybody for joining us on this. It's actually a really warm night here. I don't know what it's like where you are. Very pleasant and humid. Very nice. Thank you everyone watching on the catch up as well, and all those people watching on or listening on Spotify.
Is it fixed? Hey!
I've been putting them back up again. They're all there. I'm going to have to teach you how to do this. I can tell. So it all is easy. It is dead easy, even if all like I can do it. So tonight we are going to be talking about money-saving hobby hacks. Those sort of things that sort of tools we use or products we use or things we do in the hobby that aren't necessarily designed to be used for the hobby, if you know what I mean. A bit like Martin did with his roads in his notorious video about how he builds his tables using real dirt for roads.
It's still the most stressful video that I've made.
So that's what we're going to talk about. Thanks for all the comments that we had on the Facebook page. If you've got any more, put them down on the chat and we'll get to them as we go through. Let's have a quick look and see who's here. Pat was the first person because says, evening all, still working on my Napoleonic Austrians. Good for you, mate. Just a little white, isn't it? You just go white. Done. Easy. We've got Bitsy's here. Alid's here. Good evening, mate. Paul. Hello. Andrew. Lionheart's here. Carl Burke. Woot is here. Nick Dawson. Hello, mate. He's doing Reconquer tonight. Reconquer figures, I presume. Yeah. Mark Riding. Old School. Red Steph. John Sabi. Mobile and Hostile. Nick Games. Hello, mate. What are you doing? Are you painting Napoleonic Duchy of Warsaw infantry? You've really gone feet deep into Napoleonics, haven't you, mate? Really
I know what you were going to say then.
I was going to say that. It's too early, isn't it? Lynn, hello, mate. Rich John, hello. David Benton, hello. Neil, hello. Martin, Joseph. Joseph working. Good day, all from NC. Working on World War I French and some Normans for pillage today. Hope everyone's doing well. Good. Oh, excellent. Oh, we've lost Steve. Steve,
hey, it's not me. Hey, it's not me. Hey,
my goodness, what happened there?
That's my new reliable internet. That's my new reliable internet.
You've killed him, haven't you? Oh my goodness! I told you something about what happened. The 4 of us come together. Battle Matt's here. Steve Harbour, Lazy Pirate, Shakers and Spruce. Hello, James. John Carter, Campbell Johnny. Hello, mate. Wargamer of Kent. Ruckamall. Hello, Nick. Hello, mate. What else have we got here? Trust Me and the Cats Wargaming. What a great name that is.
I like that.
That's great. Name. Trust Me and the Cats Wargames. Very nice. Well,
there he is.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
My internet just switched itself off for literally no reason whatsoever.
I think it's Ken. I think it's Ken's
fault.
It
is.
Strange.
It's all my fault. It's always my fault.
Trevor's here. It says, evening all. No painting tonight as I've man flu. Still looking forward to some banter and intelligent conversation this evening.
We could do
intelligent.
Like what? None of those things.
I must be looking at another stream. Is all I can say. None of that's going to happen tonight. I'm just getting
not at all.
Oh, it's not good. Not happy. Come back from holiday, got a horrible cold. Nathan,
Oh, my heart bleeds.
Right, just stay away, Tom.
I think I need another holiday, mate. That's what I need. Ed James, hello, mate. It says, evening, finishing off some basing tonight, and we'll be writing a list of things to get for Under Eagles to Glory. Are you going up to Derby for that? Good. Old Crazy Cat Man is on as well.
Oh, mate, lowering the catch.
There's a lot of cat love, isn't there? Yes, we do normally start. No, we never normally start on time. Well, we do, but then Ken was a bit late coming because he couldn't find the password.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. Andrew's here. Yeah, James, Ken. Yeah, he is here. Yeah, he's here. It is really Ken. Valley Boys, New Zealand. Hello, mate. Double dip. Jason B. Dutch Army Painter. Good evening. Grand Prego. Hello, Anthony. Robert. Hello, mate. Robin's here. Oh dear, we're going to be in trouble. Benjamin's here. My best ever money saving hack was switching from GW games to historicals. One way of doing it, I guess. John Shepherd, hello, mate. Mikey Blake, sorry. Ewok is here. Good evening, mate.
Hey, Ewok. Ewok's name is James, by the way.
James.
James, who we've had up. But it's Ewok now. That's
it's Ewok. Yeah.
It's how it stays.
Anyway. So there you go. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, I say, and thank you for everyone watching on the good old catch-ups. So tonight we're going to talk about some hobby hacks and sort of ways we get other uses out of things that aren't necessarily used for the hobby, that hopefully save a little bit of money along the way, or at least make our lives easier. So we'll get some of that later. I'm going to start with Steve, because I see you've been absolutely going ballistic what you've been producing, and I want to see some of your stuff. And you've gone back to bolt action as well, haven't you?
I have. I think my trip to Warlord the other week has inspired me to start a bit more bolt action painting. So I sat down last week and I was reorganizing my bolt action Polish Airborne. And I've not seen them. They've barely been at the box since I painted them 5 years ago. And I was shocked at how bad they were painted. They were horrible. They looked horrific. There were a mishmash of all different colours. There was no consistency on the skin tones. There was pools of wash just left willy-nilly all over the place. And so I batch reworked 25 in a row, and it almost ended me. Because I don't like batch painting. It wasn't so bad that we're starting from scratch, but repainting 25 camouflage smocks was a pain. But I'm happy. This is the rifle platoon finish, and I'm doing the heavy weapons platoon tonight. So let's just see. Where are we? Did I upload them? Yes, I did. So there's that's a squad of Pathfinders. That's a 5-man.
I think I vaguely remember these actually.
Yeah, I painted them. It would have been probably January. I ordered them around Christmas 2020, and I painted them in between sort of January, February, March of 2021.
Would these be what you were working on about 1 year into the podcast?
Yes, it was quite recent.
Yeah.
But
that British Airborne box, didn't you?
It was,
and you did Polish with them instead. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
A fine array of moustaches. So I've reorganized them for 3rd edition. So this is going to be the full rifle team. So that's the first squad or first section, 5 Pathfinders. And we've got a second section there of all different bits and pieces. So funky debases up, better camouflage, better skin. There's the third one.
Very nice.
So, 8-man sections. Again, it just... Oh, do you ever get halfway through a project and think, I wish I hadn't started this? Because it was painful redoing these.
Really topic, but yes.
Yeah. I thought I'd power through though, and I spent Saturday afternoon just completely reworking them. And there's the entire lot.
Wow. Wow.
So
wow, nice, man.
That's a HQ, a Piat team, and those 3 sections. Oh, thanks, Bitty. I do. I enjoyed painting these, but I didn't remember how badly I painted them. I don't know what was going on. They just didn't look very well. I know you can be your own worst critic sometimes, but I really wasn't happy with them at all. There's just something. There was just so many individual mistakes on them. I didn't like the camo. It was too dark. There was just wash everywhere. But yeah, so I'm actually doing some more tonight. So I'm doing a mortar team, a medium machine gun team, platoon commander, and a spotter with some binoculars. And then I finished these yesterday. So these are my rat skins for Necromunda from
they are
1995, 96. I'd have got these.
I remember those.
And I've rebased them on proper Necromunda base as well. So I've got 4 more of those to do. I also did. No. Well, not any of them. No, I was so embarrassed I wouldn't show them. The rat skins were a couple were painted and some weren't. But the bolt action stuff. Now, again, I know you keep own worst critic and all that, but I really was taken aback at just how some of them looked like they could have been an episode of The Simpsons with the color of their skin. I don't know what I was using back then, but they had a very yellow hue to them, and it just looked really odd.
Just jaundice. It's fine.
Yeah, that'll ruin your war, won't it? So yeah, I'm just glad they're done, and they're all consistently done. So I've got these to do, and I'm to round it off. I'm taking all the tanks from the 11th Armour Division project and just roll them into this one project, one army, 1,500 points, put away in a box, done. That's my approach now to bolt action. Is a bit of Stillmania. So I'm going to build all armies up to 1,500 points and leave them. No more additions, no more painting. Just keep them at 1,500 points.
Nice.
I did some kit bashing over the week as well, but I didn't upload the photographs because I'm not happy with them yet. Of some Winter Fallschirmjäger. So the Warlord ones, I combined them with bits from the veterans box, and they go together quite well. I think the newer kits they proportion really well next to each other. So whether or not I turn it into a full project, I don't know. I've vowed not to put any white on them, even though they're winter, because it just looks so stark and unrealistic. I don't like painting white at the best of times. Yeah, that's me. So a bit of bolt action, bit of Necromunda, and I've got some more 2nd edition 40k on the go as well. So yeah, been a busy week.
Busy. And there was the man, Martin, who said that he wouldn't go back and do any bolt action anytime soon.
Yeah, I know.
Stuck on 40K.
Well, I think it was definitely the trip out to Warlord. Definitely re-inspired me. So seeing all the painted armies and
he's just such a contrary character.
He is, isn't he?
I don't know if I can believe anything that comes out of his mouth anymore.
Yeah, and those seminars we're talking about, especially the last one of the day with Alessio and Wojtek, that was a really interesting one. But yeah, still working on 2nd edition 40k. I'm still determined to finish both those armies for that. But yeah, it's been a nice change going back to dull colours. So,
nice,
yeah.
Mate. Nice.
Yeah, good.
It's always nice to revisit some projects. Ken, have anything to declare?
Yeah. I haven't got pictures, but I'll show you live. So do you remember the bags? Do we remember the bags?
The ones where you put everything in a bag. Yeah.
I've now decided to save time and not go with the bags and just have a box.
So it's taken you 4 years to make that decision.
Yeah, so I've primed everything. It's in all the terrains in there. Okay, so I just finished this lot today. I've done a load of tiles as well. The tiles are 3D printed. There's 6 of them. Make up some industrial terrain for 40k. But then I've also done all that. If you can see, there's a load of terrain in there as well. So that's going to be for like Necromunda, 40k, well 30k it is. My bolter action stuff, and I just want to. I've worked. That's all the terrain I've got to paint. I've done. I've got the Lord of the Rings stuff primed, ready to go now as well. You might be able to hear new printers on in the background. Creality one. This K1, if anyone's interested. It's awesome. I've had one failed print, but that was my fault because I accidentally left a bit of leftover plastic on the tray. But apart from that, they've been fine because it's complete auto leveling with that, and it's bloody quick. But it's printing out a load of Lord of the Rings scenery for me. So there's some like stuff like that. You've got bits like that. But built houses wise, it's doing me some houses. What it's doing at the moment, anyway. But I want to get it all painted and actually start having some games, like proper games, with some nice terrain. Because that's the only thing holding me back is the terrain. So I've got the figures, and I just want to finish that, and then I'll start gaming, which will be nice to actually spend some time doing that. But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Good for you, mate. Well done. Very nice. Good to see. Good to see progress.
Yeah.
What about you,
Must
Martin?
actually have
What
some.
you up to, buddy?
I've done stuff. I've done things. I'm drying my dry brush. Hang on. Right. So, I need where to put my building. Right. So, the main thing that I completed this weekend was building a playhouse for my daughter, which came in as many pieces and with the instructions of a Rubicon kit.
I was going to say, was it a Rubicon one?
Do you know what? I nearly considered like filming it for a short and just sharing it on the group, just because I was just getting so raised. This will take an hour with two people. No, it took 2 hours and much swearing. And the fact that like you think, oh, they part assembled it, and you think that's really helpful, but it's not when they're not doing it in the order that the instructions are in. So you find out that they part assembled something that you need to take apart to put another connecting part into.
Helpful.
So yeah, it was great. But yeah, that's outside. So my daughter is camping out. Well, not camping, but spending her days out in that.
Which one or both?
Which whether well, it's Robin's playhouse, but
so okay.
Send that to the hilt to stop Tessa getting in it. She'll dig a moat. She'll dig a moat. Tessa said they were mucking around the other day, and Tessa just, I think Robin said, "I'll do this," and then Tessa said, "If you do that, I will thump you." And Robin turned around to her. Bear in mind that Robin was 6. Robin turned around to her and went, "Kiss your milk teeth goodbye."
Oh, mate.
Your children, they crack me up. Love them.
Yeah. It was it harder than the British rocket and its crew? Right, I maintain the crew on the British rocket were fine. It was the rocket. It was the rocket and the rockets that ended me. Hour and a half. I would say that it wasn't as bad as that, which is an indictment. What have I worked on that's miniature related? So like Steve, Great Escape popped me the new Gallows kit. So done the review video. That's going to be on its way later in the week. But here's a sneak peek of mine. I sat there and painted that. Like Steve, I just got it done in an evening. It's dead simple. It's a really nice kit. I've got a couple of small criticisms on it, but you can wait for the video for that, I guess. Yeah, I have all of my figures are loose at the minute because I haven't decided whether I'm going to magnetize them or stick them on. I'm probably going to leave them so they can be removed because there's certain missions in Dead Man's Hand where you're trying to rescue someone on the gallows, and
nice.
I'll want those things to be movable, so I might magnetize them. I might just sort of leave them as is. But it's a little. There it goes. I really like my favorite miniature. Weirdly, is the guy with the bag on his head. Yeah, I just think the details are, they're really nice. Yeah, it was I completed this while watching that film called The Monkey.
Right.
It's about a one of those musical box things with the killer. Well, it's a monkey that causes bad things to happen. But yeah, it's a very, very straightforward kit. Very, very nice. Really goes together really well. I'd have to say this is probably, I would say that probably one of the best designed kits that I've put together recently. Everything just fits. I think you said the same, Steve. It just everything just goes really well. When
I sat down, I just thought, I'll just build the gallows, see how it goes together. And I thought, well, it'd be quite easy to paint this. It took me about 15 minutes to paint the entire gallows. And I thought, well, it's only 3 figures, so I glued them together and stuff. And yeah, I just worked through until it was all done. But a really, really nice kit to put together.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's I'm looking forward to using it in a game. So I worked on that, and then I finally finished. For a second, you thought you put me there. I mean, you can't. I'm just finishing the last house as well tonight for St Albans. And then I'm going to go and paint something that doesn't involve red tiles. I finished. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been working on the Middle Earth figure, General Targ. So I finished General Targ. So here he is on foot. So there he is on foot.
Oh, nice.
He was a lot of fun to do. It's a really, really nice figure. And there's the other side of him. But the mounted figure is much, much nicer. So there he is on his horse, which I think is probably one of the best faces I've done. And I was quite proud of the face because it just kind of got to that point where I didn't spend ages like on it. And I looked at it and I was like, I need to stop. I need to walk away. I put down my paintbrushes and turned off the lights and just went upstairs. Like, well,
this is the one with the stubble, isn't it? That you did.
Yeah.
Really nice. Yeah, it's lovely. So, absolutely lovely.
I've done him. Base is a bit of fun to work with. No, I really like it. What I really like about this model, I think I might have said this the other week, is the warhorse is really chunky.
Yeah,
because
that looks like a proper warhorse, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. I really like it. The model's drawn some criticism, but to be honest, I really like it. I prefer it to some of the other Lord of the Rings ones that I've painted. Eowyn in particular was a nightmare. But yeah, I really like it. It's a really nice pose. So he'll be making his way onto a table. I've had some. I mentioned it in my video the other day. Well, I didn't mention it. I put up some Middle Earth stuff that I've been painting, just sort of a side thing because Tessa wants to play. And people say, they'd be quite interested in seeing some battle reports, because obviously Pillage shares a lot of similarities with the Middle Earth game at its core. I guess there's some crossover, so I might try and do something. I know Matt has some Middle Earth stuff, but yeah, that's what I'm working on. Well, what I finished this week, and currently I'm just painting the last of these buildings here. It's in many pieces at the minute, but here we go. Just lots of buildings, bits of building to finish for CrackCon, and been doing a lot of organising with that, which haven't we, Dom? It's been busy. Yes. It's been busy. So
weeks, isn't it? Where it goes a bit crazy, but there you go.
Yeah, but it's all good. So yeah, that's it. What about you? What have you been doing?
What I've been doing. So, what always happens whenever you sort of have a bit of well, for me anyway, I think for Steve as well, whenever you have a bit of a slowdown on your painting, because obviously I haven't been here and I haven't been painting, so I didn't know what I wanted to get going on. So what did I reach for? I reached for the Badgers and Burrows, of course. Yeah,
very nice.
So yeah, I had a go through. I painted up a few of these fellas. Why shouldn't you? So,
oh, nice.
That's supposed to be a Chihuahua, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, apparently so. I mean, he's a very angry Chihuahua, but then most Chihuahuas are, aren't they? I think.
What has he got in his hand?
He's got a big old spear and he's pointing with a very fat finger by the look of it.
Is that his finger?
Is his finger? Yeah. I thought he was. I'm not going to say what I thought he was. You'll never unsee it now.
That's cool, isn't it? All right, going to move on to this one. I think this one's supposed to be a beaver.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a bit of fun. I just love painting. They're just so therapeutic, aren't they, to do?
Yes.
I think this one's a black rat who's got a very big poleaxe, which was also great. I mean, he's tiny. This one is tiny. So's this fella. That's another mouse.
Some of them are really, especially the mice and the shrews are really small.
They are, but that's kind of fun because you have to sort of really work at the little bits of skin tone, don't you, just to get the just right. I really love doing them, and that I think is a shrew, a Landschnick shrew. Of course it is.
Yes,
of course it is. But the one I really love, I don't know what they I think Michael must have a thing about bunnies and hares, because he does some evil looking bunnies and hares.
Yes.
I think hares just look, they either look really noble or just sinister. Yeah. There's no,
yes.
I'm talking about real life as well here.
Just in real life, yes. I just love doing them. I realize I've got about 3 of them now, which is just, and that's just, every one of them is just full of malice and look really vicious. So then I thought, Steve, you showed off how many you'd done, as I thought how many I've done. So that is all my badgers and burrows.
Right.
Quite a fair bit.
There's 41 of them.
Blimey.
I've never had a game. So there you go.
No, me neither. I've got the second edition, or the new edition. Do you know it's one of the nicest rule books I think I've ever bought? It's
really?
Oh, it's lovely. The layout, the presentation, just fantastic.
I'm pleased to hear that, because it's got to be, given how beautiful the figures are and how much work.
Oh, it certainly matches the figures.
Yeah. So that's my Badgers and Burrows warband. Then I thought to better do some real wargaming. So I got on to did some Romano British sort of military types.
Oh, nice.
Just to get going again. So so paintbrush is now moving again. Everything's back to normal. There's a whole load of ACW on the painting table and a whole load of Dark Age figures and God knows what else. Also,
normal service has been resumed. Got it.
Yeah,
normal service has restarted. So that's what I've been up to. It's been good to get the paintbrush going in. I've really enjoyed it. Which is fun. So there you go. That's what we've all been up to. Also had a game with the samurai down the club the other night, which is cool. I did take some pictures.
How was it?
It was good, although we didn't play all the different variation of the rules, because all those sort of things that can happen at the beginning with the ninjas and all that sort of thing and the commanders, we just didn't do that. We just played through some straight up games. All I can say is samurai cavalry are vicious. Jeez, they are vicious. They go through everything, apart from other samurai cavalry, it turns out. So, which tends to be a bit of a bloodbath. So we basically lined up 2 very similar forces just to try it out. And whatever happened, whenever you line up 2 similar forces, it tends just to result in whoever gets the best dice rolls that wins it. But it was fun to get them all out, and I think in a couple of weeks' time, probably after CrackCon, we'll probably do a proper big game scenario and what have you, with a few more figures painted up. So yeah, it's good. I do like those new supplements. They're really coming out nicely. So there you go. So let's get on to tonight's topic, shall we? So the idea with this was sort of money-saving hacks or things that we use that aren't necessarily branded as painting or wargaming or anything else, but just make our life easier and probably save a bit of cash as well. So I did have some interesting suggestions in there. Matt, I think, was the most interesting one. Matt, do not drink, do not eat, work, no girlfriends, tiny house. See me for further tips on how to save on home care to save some more money for toys. That wasn't quite what I had in mind, Matt, but there were a couple of other similar things, like who said, here you go, John said, money-saving hack, stick my fingers in my ears and close my eyes when you go to the money on the news on Mondays. Yeah, okay, that wasn't what I meant. But I thought we'd start off with some things that people use for painting that might not necessarily be, or painting and basing and that sort of thing, that might not necessarily be the sort of regular stuff you buy from Vallejo or whatever else. Steve, you're a bit of a wheeler dealer on this sort of stuff. Is there anything you use or kind of adapt that isn't necessarily what it was originally intended for painting and modeling?
When I was looking at the subject, I went to my basing shelf over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I keep all my weird and wonderful stuff that I use for basing. And there's so much there that isn't specifically for war games.
Yep.
So obviously there's a lot of cork board,
Of course.
in various shapes, sizes. I've got stuff that's been shredded. I've got smaller bits. I've got big bits. You can use it for basing. You can use it for scenery. Use it for all kinds of different stuff. It's versatile, and the ones I get, it's 4 table mats and 4 coasters. Costs about 11 quid. That does me for the year, because it goes a long way. Because I cut it in half as well. So 11 quid, 8 large bits of cork. That's you sorted for the year. And I get panicky when I start to run out, because I do like using cork. What else was that? Mixed herbs.
Yes.
I've got a big tub of mixed herbs that I use either for like jungle, sort of undergrowth, basic material. The smell goes away after a couple of days, so that's always good. So I've used that. I've used oregano in the past on bases. I've got a big bag of this stuff called Koya, and I think it's the stuff you get on the outside of coconuts.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know where. I mean, my dad got it for me years ago. He just said, "Was this any use to you?" Oh, I got that. And I used it when I was building some bunkers. I used it as the material to build up against some bunkers. What else is there? Willow edging. You can get them from Poundland or like DIY garden stores, and it's just like really thin. I wouldn't say twigs because they're quite regular, but they look like for 28mm scale, they look like logs from trees. What else is there?
You've used some really weird stuff for basing over time, though, haven't you? I remember the infamous couscous episode.
That was you. That was you.
Well, I mean, only because you challenged me. But,
I think there's so much stuff out there that you can use for basing. Like I think anyone that's tried to do winter stuff has always gone through the bicarbon, PVA, which is good except when it goes yellow. So I do use
that. Always went yellow for me.
It always went yellow. So I use like actual products now, but it's always good to experiment with different products like that. Another thing as well is cocktail sticks.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I use cocktail sticks in sort of scenery, but also for painting. I use them as sculpting tools. I use them to apply super glue in really small places. So I've always got a big pile of cocktail sticks as well.
Interesting.
But
it's cocktail sticks. That's an interesting one.
The best one was probably mixed herbs. It's a really good base material. And that time I was trying to find some, and my girlfriend had used the last of it in cooking. I was mortified. I was like, they're not for cooking. I'm putting them to a better use. They're being used on these Australians jungle basing. But I just think sometimes if I'm out and about and I see something and you just think I could use that. One time in the village I used to live in, we had like a haberdashery. You don't see many haberdasheries anymore. And I was just wandering around there. Not nothing particular, but I saw it was a plastic plug for the sink.
Oh yeah.
And I ended up buying one of those and cutting it up and using it as urban terrain because it looked like broken girders and stuff. Things like that are just brilliant. If you can find something,
it really does pay to keep your eyes open in those sort of places, isn't it? If you're wandering around and if you're getting dragged around by your better half to a store that you really don't want to be in, I find it great. So like IKEA or somewhere like that, I don't want to be there. I'll wander off and find things like I remember finding some cacti. Plastic cactuses once in which I thought, they'll do for a dead man's hand because they're about the right size.
Another thing that I saw as well was you can get like desk tidies and you can get like mesh ones that you can put documents in.
Yeah,
I got one of those for about £2, and I cut that up and use it as broken mesh fence. So if I'm doing like sci-fi basing, just add it to the base and it looks really good. The mesh I'm using now, I think they used to repair cars and stuff like that. Comes in rectangular sheets. Quite difficult to cut, and you do end up like you've been fighting a cat once you've finished with it. You get generally covered in scratches. But I just think I'm always on the lookout for things out of the ordinary that you wouldn't think you could use.
Yeah,
but
I remember I've got a whole load of that. So they're like wooden sticks that are wired together that you pointed me to. I think
willow edging.
Willow edging. That's it.
I've had mine for must be about 5 years now, and I've got about 80% of it left because you don't need that many.
No.
But you can use them as as they are. You can slice them in two and have them flat on a base. Just anything like that. It's just
tree trunks that have come down, or you can snap the end off and put them in the ground like something's been blown apart. It's very. I think they're really cool.
And one last one is aquarium plants for jungle scenery. You can't go wrong with some aquarium plants.
Brilliant. I love it. I like I have to say that's another place I do find myself sometimes is I don't have any fish anymore, but when we did have fish, aquarium shops are really good for those little sort of things you put in the bottom for keep fish amused. I don't know if they ever actually kept them amused, but some of those are absolutely perfect scale for sort of scenery bits. Like I've got one I use in my some of my sort of oriental games because it looks like a sort of pagoda. And it's exactly the right scale. I didn't even bother dry brushing it because it was absolutely perfect. And it was only a couple of quid. And I think when I was doing some Saga Age of Magic, I bought some sort of ghostly ghouly sort of rock faces, which work really nicely in background for that as well.
That's
just
cool.
Very cheap things, very easy to get. Yeah. What about you, Martin? Anything you're particularly? I know you're penchant also for herbs, but.
On the painting front, or just generally?
Yes. Let's start with painting first of all.
I suppose the thing I think most people notice is that for scenery, I use tester pots like this of emulsion. But you can actually get acrylic stuff now because these cost £1. So when I'm doing giant projects of buildings that need to be red because of all the red brick, I don't want to sit there using stuff like this. I use copious amounts of this, and what I quite like is how no two shops have the same sort of shades, and because I don't mind my terrain looking, the bricks on one house looking different to the bricks on the other, so I quite like that. So I never end up with the same ones because I just pick them up when I see them because I'll go weeks in. Without it's not something I use a lot, although I am at the minute for obvious reasons. So I use those. Paint brushes. I know everyone talks about makeup brushes, stuff like that. That's fine. Obviously you're only going to be able to do this if you have children. I don't recommend doing it if you don't. But that sounds really sinister. But they get lots of these little art kits and these little craft kits, and the brushes in them are really good. They're really, really good for scenery, like these ones here. So I always, once they're finished doing whatever they're doing, they're never going to use them again. So I just go and plunder the remains of their.
You steal your kids' old brushes.
They steal all my stuff. But I tell you what, they if you go into places like the Works, these kits are often just like £1, and they come with like a whole range of tools in them. Like sculpted because they have like little clay kits and things like that. So they often come with little sculpting tools, and you can pick them up for a couple of £. That's what they're my painting ones. I don't tend to skimp if I can avoid it on paints because I feel like it can go wrong quite easily, and I that would make me sad. I would probably say painting is probably what I spend, or paints are probably what I spend the largest amount of money on, I would guess.
Yeah, same here.
I don't tend to. I use lots of different ranges, but my choice is never driven by price. Really, it's driven by the color, the consistency, and how well I find the paint. And I have different paints that I like from different ranges. So I don't really tend to sort of skimp on that. More generally, I did. Nick's already just pointed this out. I was going to point this out. Battery-powered flickering candles. are the ones that people have at their weddings and they leave on the tables. If you go and sweep all those up, you can make flickering smoke markers or pop them inside your houses to do that. It's just fun little terrain elements.
So not only does he raid his kids' toys, but he also goes to weddings and steals all the stuff.
We went to one wedding at Christmas that was they put table confetti crap down, and it was all little ice gems, and they'd used the gems that I use in my games that were red, but these were see-through, so I use them as treasure counters in Frostgrave, and things like that. I just go around mopping stuff up. So cake decorations and wedding, those kind of things are quite good as well. I'm just sort of looking around. Basing materials like Steve, I use a lot of stuff. I mean, I've got there's a area outside where loads of moss grows, so I just go and rip that off in great big sheets off of the pavement, basically, and you just dry it out, and you can use it. You can sort of grind it up. You do need. The problem is obviously it rots, and anything natural will, unless you seal it somehow, and you can either seal it with a glue or rubberizing or with varnish. As long as you do that, it's fine. Otherwise it tends to go crispy and fall off the base, and you end up with all these kind of weird naked bases. So I do a lot of that. Obviously the main thing I know that you've alluded to is the roads, which are made primarily from one of these, which is a cocoa brick, which I break up. Now, these things are really hard to break up. I mean, all those rows you've seen I've done are made from that much. That's how much of it I've used so far this year. So, but this stuff expands, because what you're meant to do is put this in the container, pour water on it, and then does she take an extra bag to wedding and stuff? I use Haley as a distraction method while I mop up the stuff. So yeah, you pour this. So this, how much does this one make? It does actually tell you. These are only a few quid. So this expands to 8 liters worth.
Wow.
So if you put this in a really useful box, then pour, I think it's a couple of liters of water on it, it will expand. What you can then do is put it in the oven to dry it out, and then put it through a sieve, and then you've got this. You could use it on bases as well. So it's got this really nice texture to it, and then I throw in spare flock or anything that happens to be lying around, and that's what I use for terrain. Lichen I use as bushes. Robin, showed me that, and I sat there very just why the hell haven't I done this before? And now I do it all the time. I just find myself, especially with the roads, I mean, having a metalled road surface is nice if you've got, like you're in a town or something.
Yeah.
In a country road, I just like being able to make windy, windy paths and make roads as wide as I like, and I can essentially make any pattern I want. And I know everyone goes on about the cleanup, but to be honest, it really doesn't take very long. Just sweep it all up. I'd Steve. That's a red card. Give him a red. How do you? I'm doing that. I'm not. Absolutely not. I'm not having that. No, sir. No.
Red. Wow. No. Oh, right.
No.
Oh, that's the yellow card. There you go.
No.
It's the wrong one. It's
No.
the yellow card.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll give him the yellow card. That'll be the way. Absolutely not.
I love it.
So yeah. Other things. I mean, trees. You haven't got to spend loads of money on trees. Getting decent armatures is a bit of a pain. Although quite a lot of people now can 3D print them a lot cheaper than the Woodland Scenics ones. I mean, I've got tree armatures because Reconquer did them in his Patreon ages ago. So I've got like a never-ending supply. But you can use lots of different things for tree armatures. If you've got enough time, you can sit there with paper clips and just sort of twisting them or bits of wire. Bushes, I just made from spare bases and rubberized, because I buy rubberized horsehair to stick to my tree armatures, and then spray with glue and then dip them in flock. But I had loads of stuff left over, and I think I put them up on the stream a while ago, and I just had some bases. I was like, well, I just wanted to make some thick bushes that you could just throw on the table that are actually impassable terrain, like gorse bushes. So I just got a bunch of that, slapped it on the base. That's dead cheap.
Yeah.
Cheap. Bases, I use 25mm metal washers. I used to buy them from Wilco, but obviously that's not an option anymore. But you can get, I mean, hang on, I just ordered a load on Amazon, but I think you can get a bag of about 100 for about £5. And I know MDF is cheaper, but I like the weightiness of the metal. I like it that because the miniatures stand up and they don't fall down. And so I like that. But I think there's a lot of things you can do to save money, but there's some areas that I don't want to save money. If that makes sense, you know.
No, I think absolutely.
Yeah. I was going to say, in real life, there's some things I never scrimp on: coffee, mayonnaise, or toilet paper. And the same thing is the hobby is that I don't scrimp on brushes anymore. Because it's a false economy. It really is. Paints, I know what brands of paint I like. I know which ones I like to work with, so I just stick with those. But yeah, most of the time you're looking for different things. But they're like Martin said, you're painting stuff. I don't tend to scrimp on. It's just
I do think I agree with you on brushes, but I think you can. I mean, I tend to, a bit like Martin. I would use any old crappy brush for when you're applying varnish or you're applying a wash or whatever on it. Actually, I don't want to use the good brushes for that, so I'll pick up like you do, Martin, to go to
that's my brush collection. So there's some good ones in there. There's a couple of excellent ones in there, and there's some workhorse ones. Which I don't care, what happens to them.
I just looked up on here right now. So there's a limited time deal right now on Amazon which is not sponsoring this podcast. For £13, you get 304 25mm washers.
My
13
God.
quid. So that's 300 metal bases. So
how much did that work out at?
£13.59 for 304.
That's really, really
washers.
good.
Because a lot of people use 2p coins.
Yeah.
Which, how much does that work? Someone do the maths on that.
I based all my 20 mil.
Yeah.
I based all my 20 mil AB figures on 2p's and 1p's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think I did a lot of my early figures were on 2p coins or even penny coins because it's it works out a lot cheaper than using the MDF. And as you say, the weight is good, especially if you're plastic figures. It actually adds a bit of weight to the figure and makes it a lot easier when you're standing them up on the table. But yeah,
2p's would be cheaper. Sorry, 2p's would be cheaper. But
there you go.
But you've got
if you can find a bank, go and get a bag of
2p's. Yeah. True.
That's the problem, is finding a bank that will do it. But that always used to be the thing. It was the best thing to do. A lot of people mention that actually as their hacks. Simon, here you go. So Simon, 2p's for individual bases on 28mm figures. Can't speak. Bird sand from a pet shop and PVA as texture on bases. Plastic broom bristles for pikes.
Oh yes,
I agree with the pikes.
Yeah. I've got various bits of bird sand and again, aquarium sand is another one. When we used to have fish, I had loads of aquarium sand and gravel and that sort of thing. That's really good for a texturing on a base.
Chinchilla sand's good.
Chinchilla
sand, but it's very, very fine. That sand.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a very fine sort of like thing to put on the buildings, just to texture them up, so your MDF stuff works really well.
Like it. What about you then, Ken? Anything I dread to say, but anything you would tend to use from the painting or the basing side?
I'm not going to say what I used to say, ladies.
Please don't.
For me, it's cotton wool buds, cotton wool pads. It's just so versatile for cleaning up mistakes. And for as well, if you use oil paints like oil washes, it's when you put like a thinner on afterwards, you can be very precise with it, especially if you're using smaller scales. You can make some really nice streaking marks out of it. And they're very cheap, aren't they, to use? You can use these like special made sort of like paintbrushes with the sponges on to do it, but I'm not paying £9 for that. So that. So yeah, or just sponge, innit? Just good old sponge. It's useful for everything.
Makeup.
Good for.
I still hate.
Yeah,
makeup sponges are very good.
Yeah, they are very good. They are very good, and they're good for a lot of things. And it's good to make a flicker pattern as well. Sometimes I know people use brushes and stuff, but if you're trying to, like myself, I'm trying to do like what's it called? A bit more of a consistent sort of pattern instead of flicks. Sorry, I meant to say it works a little bit better if you want to make it stand out a bit more with a sponge than it would if you're flicking it with a paintbrush. But you guys have really mentioned everything I was really thinking of, to be fair. I'm trying to think of anything basing wise.
Did we mention makeup brushes for dry brushing? Absolutely fantastic.
I'm using one now.
Yeah, they're brilliant. I got
them. They're great.
I got 20 for about £5 when I was doing that Space Weirdo scenery, and they last. They're still going.
They last a lot longer than the real things, dude. That's for
absolutely,
sure. Yeah. And then at that kind of price, you almost don't mind when they die. You can chuck them away. You've already got another 2 or 3 that came in the pack. So, yeah, I don't think I ever use any normal dry brushes anymore. It's always makeup ones.
Yeah, I wouldn't go out purposely to buy a dry brush. No way. It just wouldn't happen. It's just like you say, there's just no point, is there? It just doesn't make any sort of sense. But Martin's idea with the tester pots as well is really good if you do boards. If you making boards up, it's really good for that. Using just nothing wrong with that paint, to be fair. Or if you want to seal something, like I'm going to be sealing the Blood Bowl board using brown and you can get acrylic now, can't you, Martin? But it's emulsion, like just a brown emulsion. And to be fair, they normally do some really good sort of earthy tones. You can get some really nice browns.
Well, when I did my Crusader stuff, I actually went and got some paint mixed. I took some AK paints and squirted them onto a sort of a big card, and I asked them to mix them because I wanted the houses to kind of reflect the stuff I was using for basing, as if they were made from the same kind of clay and the same kind of. I just wanted that sort of consistency. That cost a little bit more, but I've still got those tins. And I did all the scenery with those. I think it ended up costing about maybe £7 or £8 to get this tester thing mixed up. Because they'll only, if they're mixing it up for you, they won't do the really, really small ones. They'll only do a larger one. But I've still got them and I used them. And I did all the basing for my Crusade stuff, and all the buildings I did for the Crusades were done by that as well.
Like it. No, I think that's a lot of also people use. I've seen a lot of people doing videos where they're batch painting figures. Sorry, Steve. And they're using bottle tops from Coke bottles or other brands.
Oh yeah, I've done that.
To hold them and whatnot. Which I mean, I use stirrers or tongue depressors. Is what I use.
I just use one. I don't even do that. Do you remember it? I've still got it. Look. I just use one. I put the whole. I sit with it like this. Look, on my shoulder, and I just go down the line. I paint them. That's done. That did all of my ECW, all of my Napoleonics, which is why it's now twice as thick as what it was originally.
Yeah, after a while, the paint builds up so much on them that I can't get anything to stick. So then, that's why I don't mind with these ones. Once they get unusable, I just chuck them away. I've got a box of I don't know how many hundreds down there that I picked up from Amazon years ago, and they're absolutely last forever. But yeah, I think makeup brushes definitely seem to be one of those things. Sand. Oh, a lot of people talking about sand they pick up. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's all right, mate. I just remembered. Do you know the sponges? If you get a coffee, like, if you grind your own coffee, you get the sponges that have got the green bit and the the scoury bit and the normal sponge. If you rip the green bit off and you put that in a coffee grinder with some some emulsion paint, it makes really good flock for bushes. Really good. I've actually done some. I have to find it because I've put all my terrain stuff away. But they're a bit like I want to describe it as fluffy. The sponge bits that come out really small, really neat, but they go together really nicely. If you've got, say, I don't know, if you're just using a bit of plastic and you just glue in like stuff to it, it sticks together really well. Makes some really nice bushes out of it.
Nice. I like it. I think Sean Metal Merc said on the Facebook page he was talking about Brillo pads, but I think he was using them as terrain. I think because he had pulled open and dried Brillo pads as brushes. Works a treat. Interesting. I'd love to. I wish he was on and ask him how he actually uses them. That's a very odd way of doing things. Okay. I think there's a lot of. It's funny about the you were talking about Brillo pads and that sort of thing. I remember years ago we used to make hedges and things like that with a green Brillo pad type thing, or they weren't necessarily Brillo pads, but they were some sort of washing thing, and you could actually cut them, stick them on a piece of something like one of those tongue depressors, and then just dry brush it and put a bit of wash on it, and it turned into quite good sort of hedging and what have you for the tabletop. It may be a bit regular. I'm sure people are much more sensible than me, but would start taking chunks out of them and knocking holes in them just to break it up, the irregularity. But that always worked pretty well. Oh, there you go. Wardrobe says the same thing. Yeah. Cut up Brillo pads and use them as hedges. We used to do that all the time on my tables. It was surprisingly effective. And also you could build them for the right, whatever scale you were playing. If you're playing 20 mil, then obviously you build them a little bit shorter and get a lot more out of them. So that was always good. Sand, that's another thing that a lot of people have talked about. There you go. Hobby Brush uses pennies and 2p's for basing. Benjamin points out it's technically illegal to deface currency. Yes, really.
Robin came back with him and said it's. Robin's already gone and researched it.
Still there. He hasn't gone there. Anyway,
permanently defacing it.
He says builders sharp sand for mixed grade basing materials, and also if you don't have any green stuff, blue tack and a layer of super glue can fill gaps at a push. There you go.
Yeah, that's a good shot. Yeah,
I did that with plasticine years ago. I was building up a multi base for some nights, and I wanted to build another thing around the edge, and I'd use plasticine and then cover the entire lot in PVA, and it worked. It is really, really sturdy stuff.
I think I've done
just use Milliput. That's really cheap.
Right? Milliput's good as well.
£2.50 a set. Really,
yeah, but that's fine if you've got it. My problem with Milliput and things like that is I can't ever put the lid properly on them or something because I don't use it that often. And when I go back to use it again, it's gone rock solid. I don't get it out. So every time I have to then reorder a new one. Whereas when the kids were at home and they were young, they'd have some sort of plasticine or something around that I could just, a bit like Martin does with his raiding his girls. I'd go and take the same thing and just take a little bit off, and then, as you say, just mix it with super glue and put it on the thing, then put some super glue over the top, and it worked really well as a sealant. Really good indeed. Used it on the bathroom too, if I remember rightly. No, that's a lie. Dear. What about foraging for stuff? David Benton has always had quite a few thoughts on this topic, but a couple of them were make it yourself if you can't find it, or forage it for nothing. I've done that with sticks and to make barricades and fences and that sort of thing. As you say, Martin, you do need to be very careful that you let it dry thoroughly, otherwise you come back to it a couple of years later and it goes a bit moldy. But that is quite a simple thing. Obviously, rocks and stones from the garden are also very useful things to use. Again, if you wash them properly.
Certain types. Otherwise, they do just look like you put a pebble on a base. No, I had before we moved house, this poor bush in our back garden. So there was this bush in our back garden where I lived in Cambridge, and I don't know what this is. See, I should have used that app. You can look, you can identify plants or bushes or whatever with, but it was perfect. So all of the trees and things you see on my bases and my command bases are basically bits I've snapped off, and it was perfect. They looked exactly like miniature versions of tree. It was the twigs of the right thickness. It kind of had that like peely but sort of bark on it. They weren't really frail, so they snapped. They were a bit flexible. You could paint them. So rather than identifying said tree when we moved, I took a pair of clips to it and I savaged it. And I've got like loads of it down here of these cuttings, and I use it all the time. So yeah, I use stuff like that. I also create barricades and things like that out of it. Just going into Costa and foraging's coffee stirrers count as foraging.
In a manner of speaking, yeah.
I don't know whether mine could be considered foraging or theft.
Go on, admit it.
Yeah, years ago, I'm going to try and keep it as vague as possible, so I can't be got. I had cause to park a car park quite often, and it was quite a swanky place, and they had loads and loads of decorative slate in the car park, and every time we went there, I used to come back with a pocket full of them.
Garden people do that. If you go over to where they sell all their bags of slate, they've usually got like tester pots, so you can take a bit. I think you only take like one bit, but that's their fault for being vague.
Yeah,
natural properties are very similar for that. Oh, did I say that? No. I think so. What do you do with it? Do you wash it thoroughly? Do you just?
I used to get home. I used to wash it, leave it overnight, and I'd use it. I went through a phase of basing figures on slate. In fact, I've got a demon prince on my shelf, my living room, and he's based on slate. It's quite useful. Only, yeah, I can't believe I used to do that. I really can't.
I've certainly used pebbles and things like that from the garden. I do remember. I think it was those. Do you remember I did those Latvian World War II?
Oh
figures?
yes.
Yeah. I did foraging for sticks and stones for that. I remember going on walks with Elaine. I think it must have been during COVID. And we were out walking somewhere, and I just kept. She said, "You're going to keep picking up sticks everywhere we bloody go." And I said, "Yeah, but it's perfect. Look at that."
Yeah. And any trip to the beach is lethal.
Oh yeah.
Little pebbles, rocks, stones, twigs. Yeah, it's like a foraging Costco.
Foraging Costco. Mind you, you do have to be careful, don't you? I do remember. I think I've mentioned this on one of the streams years ago, but I did attempt to dry out some earth in the oven.
Yes, you did.
Because I didn't realise there's lots of little bits of wood in there, and when you turn it up turns out when you put earth in the oven on a tray at a very high heat, the woody bits catch fire. Yeah.
Did you just walk away? Did you just forget about it?
I was watching it. I did watch it. I was luckily I was around. I think Elaine was at work at the time.
I'm assuming he means fines, not funds. I'm assuming he means the fines. Yes, there is like a plentiful supply of like tiny bits of brick and ground up pottery and dust in our I did just see. I can't see it now. Someone commented about concrete dust. I mean, you can. I wouldn't recommend it because
not breathing that stuff in.
And it causes silicosis. That's on my CSCS car. I know that. So if you want to use, I mean, there's easier way.
Yeah, remember that time I was
Ken is our site manager. I mean, my guys huffing or like I just tell them no. But then a lot of stuff, again,
there is but there is reasons you have to wear a mask around that stuff.
Yeah, I've just imagined that time I was happily cutting up
That's carcinogenic, that, Steve.
That's toxic, mate. I'm like, Brilliant. My desk covered in the stuff. It's all over me. That changed my project slightly because as dedicated as I am to the hobby, when a project kills you, that you've overstepped the mark there slightly.
Just a tad.
Just a tad. That's why I had to stop. But I loved working with that stuff as well. And then to be told what I've been cutting up for the past hour is toxic.
Yeah, not great.
All right, Robin. Robin is. I know he's sitting there googling. I know you guys doing that.
He'll be googling it. Well, he'll be finding out. Yeah, yeah, interesting. I think. I do think you've got to be careful, as Steve found out, what the material is like when you're using it. You've got to be really careful, and also. Yeah, it's true, Andy. I did kill the bacteria. Also, quite a few creatures in the house and various other things because they said all the smoke detectors and everything. Nearly killed me as well when the wife came home. Anyway, you do have to be really careful with some of the substances that you might try and use before you use them. But there's a lot of stuff you can use that you don't realise that makes your life easier and cheaper as well.
Tea is another one. One of the very, very first base materials I ever used was tea. So I used to cut open tea bags, PVA it onto a base and paint over it. My parents were thrilled.
Okay, so one of the first basing things I used that I remember properly using for basing was just polyfiller. Just normal polyfiller from the from the store, because you could buy a big tub of stuff. And then it was great, but it does crack and dry out. It cracks,
and if you just put it straight into a base, it just comes off. It doesn't adhere particularly.
You do need to put a layer of PVA or some sort of glue at the bottom first. Yeah, you do.
Yeah. But okay. I've got a thought. This has led me to a thought, but maybe it's better for that after news. I know it's but I have a question back to you now based on everything we've just said.
All right. We've got loads of comments, so let's do the news, and then we'll come and you can ask the question, and then we'll come back to some of the other comments because there's been lots of suggestions. You're a weird bunch out there, as if I didn't know. Right, let's do some news. What you got there, Martin?
I've got a few bits and bobs. Well, I did the normal thing of coming on here and seeing what you had, and then adding mine afterwards. V&V, who occasionally pop up with releases. They have put up a few bits. They've got some Hussites that they are releasing. So you've got this kind of command group. I really like the notable there. I think, and that's quite cool. I quite like the. Actually, I quite like all of them. They got a lot of sort of personality. These are, of course, resin figures. So I thought they were quite cool. But then you've also got these guys here, the handgunners. I really, really like. They got the chap with it over his shoulder, a bit like my hold my painting stick thing. I really like that, and there aren't many models out there where it's got it over the shoulder. But it is, if you look at some of the like the European sort of 16th century, 15th century sort of, field manuals, the illustrations, it does show them like that. So I think there's some quite nice figures. So those are some Hussites by V&V. Victrix is really pushing forward with its releasing warband size packs. So where it's got, a few miniatures of say heavy and then some cavalry. And they've just announced 2 more going into the Arthurian or late Roman period. So you have here a late Roman warband. So you get some cavalry, some archers, and some infantry. So of course this would be a good basis for pillage. Now there aren't any late Roman rules yet in pillage, so you'd have to make them up. But then you could use this in Saga. You could use it in Dux Britanniarum. There's loads of games that you could use this in. I just think it's a good starting point. And then they've also they've got an early Saxon one,
because they even come with the transfers, don't they?
Yes, they do, which is awesome. So they I think this is I think that initially when they put them together, it was a bit of an experiment to see how they sold. And I think they must have sold quite well, because I was reading on their comments, people were asking for Greek ones with some command options, a bit like what you used to get in Mortal Gods, being actually available commercially rather than just in that box set. So, that's the kind
I
of
guess
thing
it shows, like we know, is skirmishy type games are really on the rise, but people will buy.
People just want to paint up a small warband. They just want to have a go. They just want to paint up. I just want to paint some Greeks and do Jason and the Argonauts or whatever, and then move on. If you want to do your mass battles, and you buy the big Victrix packs, go for it. I think it's interesting. Obviously, they've got their own game that they put out now. That they support, they help publish. We know they've got other games in the pipeline as well, so maybe it's all going to feed into that. But it'd be really nice to see like a Varangian warband, like some, or a Crusader, states. They could really get quite detailed with the kits they're doing. Like, so they could do. What would be really nice is see the term warband doesn't really work when you're talking about Roman legionaries, but to have a smaller set where you've got some Roman legionaries, you've got a Scorpio, you've got that lovely command frame that they have. That would be really nice, and it would be really cool to build up, command elements in divisions. I saw, Matt posted this up in our group. Warhammer Quest has announced a new title, which seems to have got a lot of people very excited. So this is Warhammer Quest Dark Water. I'm assuming it's going to be on the same lines of the other ones, but I imagine it's also going to have a limited release like the other ones as well. Other than that picture, I don't have anything else. So if that wets your whistle, there you go. And again, there is another Kickstarter, I say another Kickstarter. There is another game, another Dark Age, Viking Age, early medieval game on Kickstarter. So it really is the year of the medieval. And this is by the same people. Do you remember 2 or 3, I think it was 2.5 years ago, there was that naval game. I think it was called like Fjord Serpents. And it was basically Viking naval game.
Yes, I know.
Kickstarter. Yeah. Well, they've come and they're doing their own sort of raiding game now, which is over on Kickstarter, which is called Blade Wrath or Blade Wrath, depending on where you're from. This is the Fury of the Vikings, and there's all sorts of add-ons and things. I quite like that cover. It's quite a nice cover. I do like it. It says what it, I think that pretty much sums up the game. So there's lots of different stretch goals, 100-page softcover rule course system. There's like an army book as well. It talks about sort of sub factions within the Vikings. So I'm assuming they're talking about maybe like pagan Rus and Varangians, and trying to sort of like separate those down. There's also some you could order like stat cards if you want to use stat cards, and they do have some of their own miniatures. It's miniature agnostic, and they have some of their own miniatures at 15 mil, which you can either buy physical or STLs of. But that's over on Kickstarter. If that's your thing, so that's called Blade Wrath Fury of the Vikings. My only sort of comment on it is entering a very crowded market this year, and I don't know if there's going to be a bit of exhaustion for skirmish level, raid level games set in the Viking Age in that early medieval period. There's been a lot this year, and is another one going to break free. It's going to have to do something pretty different, I think. But then if it's a good game, it's a good game. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because people will follow success, and it's sort of, as you say, it seems to be very trendy at the moment. Everything seems to be medieval in some degree or another. So I'm intrigued to see how they go. But I don't know. I guess if they do something different, then why not?
Yeah. That's what I saw. Anyway, that's my
cool.
input.
That's your input. So talking about Kickstarters, I know we mentioned these a while back, but the new Duchy of Baden from Piano Miniatures is live.
Nice.
So if you want to pick up his newest creations, there's some beautiful figures there. You can get the STLs or you can get the physical metal figures as well. and he does ship pretty much anywhere, which is pretty good as well. So very nice indeed. Check them out. I can't remember how many times it's been in and out of a basket thinking, shall I, shan't I?
Yeah, the printer now.
I know, that's why. That's the worst excuse, though, because I think if it was metal, I'd go, no, I won't. But then I think, oh, well, it's STL. I might as well have it. It's like, yeah. So, anyway, we'll see. They are beautiful, though. Really nice figures. Another Kickstarter. So I get asked from time to time about some of the shield transfers I use on some of my medieval, some of which are not terribly historic, some are a bit fantasy. But this is the Kickstarter that's currently going. Heraldic Waterslide Decals, Part 7. This is, I've cut the name off. It's a chap called Carthage Must Be Destroyed.
Yeah.
And they are, you can buy some of his past transfers, as well as this new current range of transfers. And they are genuinely really easy to use. And I just find every time they just work without fail. Not had a single failure in all the ones I've used. So check them out. I think his shop is also on one of the online stores. I can't remember.
It's on Etsy.
That's right. Yeah. So you can also get them there. But I think they're slightly cheaper if you buy through the Kickstarter at the moment. So if that interests you, check it out. What else we got? Blessed Perrys are at it again. They are continuing with their Napoleonic Egyptian campaign figures. So early French, basically. So there's some chasseurs with the early period headgears, helmets. Not really helmets. I suppose they are helmets. Anyway, very nice indeed, as always. It's another set of them, and some others with the old school sort of. I don't know what they're called. Shakers, I guess they are, but they're sort of much more sort of tower-based ones that look at very intriguing options. And also some infantry. So definitely early Napoleonic War, that is, infantry available as well. So that fills another gap in that period. It's still very underrepresented, I think, early Napoleonic Wars. But the Perrys are doing their best filling that as we go. So I'm sure there'll be a lot more on that range coming up. Steve? Another Quar tank.
Nice.
Another Quar tank, which looks really cool. I mean, just it's Quar.
They are. I still kick myself. I've not really jumped into paint. I've never painted any. I've got a box, never painted them.
It's gonna be our Christmas challenge, isn't it, to paint them?
Yeah, paint a Quar.
Oh yeah.
A Quar.
I've got a box as well. Yeah. That's finally given.
Somewhere around here.
Quarmageddon.
Yeah.
We'll do Christmas Quarmageddon.
Christmas Quarmas. Okay. Reconquer showed some of his October and November designs already. So we don't often show. I don't know why we don't show his fantasy stuff as often. But I love this.
Oh yeah, that's based on
Warrior
Conan.
versus Orc.
That's so that pose is based on a classic image from Conan. And then the orc, I think I can't remember where he got the orc from, but essentially it's blended together. But yeah, that's really cool. I've got that somewhere to print off. I thought that would be quite a cool model just to paint.
It looks like one of those ones you would just do as a slightly larger model and paint it if you were so inclined. Yeah. Very nice. Also, I think these were the October launch, weren't they? I don't think we covered. I think we covered when they were early done, but they're now finished.
Yeah.
Mid 14th century knights. It looked damn good. Very nice indeed. Also, I particularly like these guys.
Yeah, the villagers. Yeah,
I love the caption on that. Was civilians suddenly aware?
Yeah, of the charging knights or Conan smashing a goblin.
Suddenly aware the next 10 minutes are going to be violently unpleasant.
And the lady at the back saying, "Come away, darling. I don't think this looks nice."
No.
Yeah, very good. Civilians are always fun. Just to add a bit of kind of colour to the table, and was going to say I like the arse, but it's the ass. These are upcoming. These upcoming figures? I think they are. Or we have these already?
Yes, they're upcoming.
Yeah. These are November, I think. King Alfonso of Portugal, the Brave, and he's
he's based the design on the shield on his there's an illustration of the chap's seal, and he's based the coat of arms on the image that's on the seal, so which is pretty cool. He does a lot of research. He really does.
He does a huge amount, and there's a couple more. Actually, it's one figure, isn't it? This is
that's Bertrand, because he's already done him on foot. He's already got 3 separate poses on foot for this chap, and now he's got him mounted as well. And he's kept the same face, and which is cool.
Fantastic figure. Love that with his war axe. Very good indeed. So that's November, I think, from Reconquer. And also Flags of War. Actually, a game I really must go back and play a bit more of because I really enjoyed it. Was Border Wars. So Ian up there at Flags of War has got some new figures out. So these are Veterans of the Land group, which is they're lovely figures. They're really nice. I've got a load of them, and I really like the game. It's a very clever little game, skirmish game, small number of figures, kind of fun. So there's those Veterans of the Land. He's also got the Daring Escape figures.
They do look really nice.
Really nicely done. And then the Housekeepers.
Oh, excellent.
Which look really cool as well. And then the Brothers. Which really cool. So yeah, I think he said these are going to be available at Partisan in a couple of weeks' time, and I think he also said he's got some more for his Jacobite range coming after Partisan. So I think it's been a bit slower on the figures from Flags of War, but sounds like it started ramping up again. So really nice figures. I kind of think some of these figures I could use for some of my Italian wars and just mix them in.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Anyway, so that's that. I think that's everything I saw. Anything, Ken or Steve? Anything you guys saw?
No, the only thing I was possibly going to mention was what Martin said about the Warhammer Quest. Saw that.
Sorry.
But yeah. Oh, that's all right.
Good. All right then. That is fabulous. Right, let's have it. What's your question then?
Well, my question was very basic. Now, obviously, the topic was money saving hobby hacks, right? Okay, so there's all things we do, and we've all covered a lot. My question is, considering how much money we could save by doing all of these things, why don't we? Is it purely convenience because we can just buy tufts, we can just buy trees ready, but we can just, we haven't got the time to go out and forage and go out and collect all this stuff, and you can just buy a ready-made bunch of mix. Is that purely it?
Yeah, for me, I like those tough.
Yeah, it's not a go. I'm just curious.
No, for me, it's convenience and laziness and the danger of having to mix with other human beings. Really
got to do that in 2 weeks, mate. You got to do that in 2 weeks. What are you going to do? Crazy,
I
isn't
don't think Ken, we don't count as real human beings.
My third wargaming outing this year.
Yeah,
wow. Mate, that's amazing.
Yeah, I do a lot. I will gather like some sticks out for specific purposes, and I don't do the roads because it's cheap. I do the roads because I think they look better. That's why I do them, and because I'm not stuck then using these rigid roads, which I still think look good. And I to be honest, ultimately, I don't think anything beats a custom built board with carved roads and carved out rivers and beautiful, absolutely, if you've got the space. But the reason I do the roads is because it's easy to store. And I think it looks better, basically. That's a matter of opinion. I appreciate that. But, what's the...
Carl says he's from Yorkshire. That's his excuse. You know what? I genuinely, so yeah, I'm a bit like Steve. I'm lazy and convenience has a big impact. So I know I could make my own tufts, for instance, and I've never done it. And frankly, I'd make a right old hash of it, and I'd probably get angry. I'd probably throw it up in the air. I'd get glue everywhere. So it's just not worth the effort. I might as well buy a tub of tufts from Amazon for cheap money and add a couple of nice ones on top from somewhere else. But yeah, I mean, I do genuinely use, I use dry brushes. I use makeup brushes because they're cheaper.
Yep.
I use, and I think they do as good a job. So if it's something that genuinely is as good or better and cheaper and it's easily accessible, I'll do it. So I don't have no qualms about that at all.
No.
I do buy a lot of stuff just because of convenience,
The thing I'd say about the brushes is I would say, because I've used makeup brushes and I've got dry brushes as well. So I think for the level of painting that we do, that they're sufficient. I don't think you'll catch people. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but obviously, people who are painters, they might use them. But for the level of painting that we're doing, they're more than sufficient makeup brushes. And the paint brushes. But like Steve, you use Winsor & Newton. You ventured away from Winsor & Newton and nearly had an aneurysm.
Look, I'm actually using this one now. This Raphael. Yeah. I've mentioned it a week. I've not been so. On average, I was paying about 20 quid per brush for a Winsor.
Cake. Sorry, mate.
Which for years ago, I'd get them and I'd use soap brush and you'd look after them and they'd last a good 18 months, sometimes longer. The last sort of 4 that I've bought, they've lost their point really quickly. Yeah. Which is what you want on a good brush, is it retains its point. So a couple of weeks ago, I saw a video. I was Trovarian Miniatures was talking about brushes, and he recommended Raphael. So I ordered one that night and I arrived the next day. I've been using it ever since. It's a size 1, bear in mind, it's a size 1, but the point, it just retains its point so well. Honestly, it's ridiculous. And this was cheaper than a Winsor & Newton. This was £17.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
So it's cheaper than Winsor & Newton, and I just like using it. Yes.
Yeah,
like I said,
I'm the same. I'm not good with. I mean, I'm bad at looking after brushes, and I know I am. So I kind of I begrudge spending a load of money on a very good brush because I know I'll trash it. I went to bed last night after doing some painting and I'd left one of my brushes in the water pot. It's like, why did you do that, you idiot? I came back, sure enough, it's bent like I won't say what it's bent like, but it's bent and it's like useless. So that's in the, pretty much in the bin really now. So, or I can use it for other things. So, and I'm crap at that. And it's one of my many bad character traits. So I'll try and find cheap brushes that I know that I don't mind, because if it's a 20-30 quid brush and I've done that, I think, I would
with if every time I have a painting session that is thoroughly cleaned in brush soap, it gets a really good going over with the brush soap, because I don't want to be paying £17 every 6 weeks for a brush, because I'm just not.
Yeah, that's painful. That's painful.
No. That just hurts. And I know people in the thing I'm mentioning Pro Art. I tried Pro Art. Again, for me it was false economy, because I
find they're really variable. Some of those brands you can get. I've had some that have been absolutely fantastic and lasted for a heck of a long time, kept the point really nicely, and then there are other ones that virtually, like a mildewy cat in the first.
Yeah, I've got one. I've got one here, and it's all the stuff's rubbed off it, right? It's a nondescript brand, and it's kept its point for years. Yeah. And then you buy some, and they just don't last.
I've had the same with Army Painter or whatever. You buy one, and literally within first use of it, it's lost its point, and bristles are all over the place. It's like, for Frigate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, and I feel like it was either Robin or Miller, and we were at a show, and it was when we were at it was either at Warfare or Salute, and it was good. We went over, and I said, I need to buy a pack of brushes. What are these? So I've got some Pro Art brushes, which I use as workhorse sort of brushes for doing crap bits that I don't really want to do neatly. And I went over there, and then I think it was Miller. And now this could be down to maybe he's just freakishly strong. He picked up a brush, and because it didn't have a cap on it, he did this. And this isn't Jake. You can ask him. He did that, and he just all of the bristles just came out. And the woman who was there, the woman went, "Oh, yeah, that's not supposed to happen." I was like, "Oh, never mind."
It's not a great advert.
Yeah. So that was I found that quite amusing. I'll put that down to maybe it's a 50-50 between some kind of like freakish strength of Miller and the quality of the brushes combined. It wasn't a good advert.
No, not at all. I just yeah. So I'm the same. But so generally for me, I will take cheap routes in if it's convenient and easy to get. But if I have to go and find something, I probably won't bother because it's easier to buy it online with Amazon. I still remember the time when I really didn't have any money to buy much with the hobby, and I'll still find a shortcut if I can that's cheaper. But sometimes just the lure of Amazon or eBay or whatever is so much easier.
Easier.
Before you know it.
I had some these Artis Opus ones that were bought for me about 3 years ago, and I've only just had to replace them for the nice brushes, for doing the detail work and stuff like that. And I've only just replaced those. But like Steve, I looked after those. But no,
like
what Rogue Trooper is saying,
like Rogue's comment, his standard painting standard is about £2.50. So I'm not going to pay £17 for a brush. That might make my painting look £3.50.
To be fair, buying brushes like that is one of the very few vices that I have. So I do. Like I said, I did that experiment. I bought nothing but just other brand paints for about 6-7 months, and it was just like James said in the comments. It's false economy because you end up paying more to replace the crappy brushes. I don't know. I will never go back to using. I've got the workhorse ones, but these Raphael ones are my product moving forward.
Yeah, Graham says he uses brushes sold for applying nail varnish. About 15 for £7 or £8. Points do curl, but I just move on to a new brush. Yeah.
Maybe it all depends on the way we all paint as well.
It does.
So Steve might have quite a delicate hand, so the point might not go as quick on his brushes when he does his paint strokes. I might be a bit heavier with my hand, so I push a bit harder. Just all depends, doesn't it? I guess that's you got to find your own sweet spot, really.
You do. You definitely do. Yeah, you definitely do. Okay, let's have a look at some of the comments that people have put up. I've got loads starred, so some interesting points here. John says, cheap makeup brushes for dry brushing, doormats for long grass.
Oh, yes. I made a couple of really good fields out of a doormat. I almost lost a thumb using a Stanley blade to chop it in two. But yeah, it was really, really good and quite cheap as well.
Yeah, I use doormats. I remember Sean, Metal Mercenary, came around here once, and I'd had the table set up, and I was really pleased with the fields I'd built out of mats. I use them all the time, and I'd sprayed them a bit with different colours and just to sort of get a little bit of tonality into them. He said, "Oh, you really should put some colour into those. They look too uniform." And I thought, I've bloody spent hours doing that. So I didn't bother with the next lot, just on principle. But yeah, I think doormats. Sorry, a little fly buzzing. Yeah. Doormats are great for that kind of stuff. I think they're the old wicker hair, like horsehair, aren't they? Almost
core, core. You can go a little bit further with those because models sitting on top of them wind me up. Yeah, I just think it looks stupid. It's like it just annoys me. But if you turn it over, just
I know what we're having when you come around here, then, mate.
Well, yeah, you just spin them over. Yeah, but just my models won't go in there. That's all you got to do to get my stuff in one area. Just put those bits of scenery like where you don't want me to go, and I won't. But if you flip them over and you score some, I don't know, maybe some rectangles in them, and you could just take bits out and move the unit through it. And it only takes like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's effort though, isn't it? But you're right. You're absolutely right. James says, though Russian brushes that Dom also tried have been the best I've ever had. Shame they're now inaccessible. Yeah, inconsiderate, that whole thing. Yeah, those were brilliant brushes. They were the best and the cheapest I'd ever used. They were fantastic. And I've still got a couple of them. And I'm trying to sort of nurse them.
See, Rob, sorry, it's made me laugh. Rob, I feel like some people go out of their way to make the hobby like purgatory. I mean, it does seem that way sometimes.
It does sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic. What else we got here? I love Ken Riley. I think he was in the chat earlier as well. But he said, my top money saving tip is buying in bulk. For example, wait until Wargames Foundry do a 25% off. And then when you spend over £300, spend £400 and get £100 off. Yeah.
That's Yorkshire economics right there.
I think he did say then he goes and spends 100 as well. So, anyway, but I know some people just buy what they need. But I do tend to, if I see a discount, I'll buy something I think I'm going to need. Just because
loves a bargain.
Because it's a bargain, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I like that. Steve Harbour's on the other end of the spectrum. He says, buy a test box before jumping feet first into 500 miniature project. I don't know what that means.
I've never done that. I've never bought a test box. Never.
No.
I can see the logic of it, but
100%.
No. And Robin's on that approach. Robin says, I've said it before and I'll say it again, buy it all now before the prices go up. Yeah, that's one of my theories on the whole thing. What about let's have a look. Cat litter. Crazy cat man surprisingly says cat litter for rocks. I've loads of that.
I use cat litter.
He says the unused stuff works better. Thanks for that tip. Very good.
Funny that.
Yeah, funny that. I did use it for a while, but I think I got the wrong stuff. When we did have a cat, I think it was the papery one, and it just every time I put glue on it, it just sort of expanded and didn't really. It just didn't look right at all. But I think if you get the sawdusty or the gravelly one,
the one I use is like little white stones.
Yeah. I did similarly use. I still do. I've got some builder's sand in a pot, and I got some little gravelly bits that I think are used in like gardens. When people are doing those posh displays, they put, make it look. The flower pots look nice, and I'll put them on the top over the top of the earth. I got some of those I just mix in. They're very uniform and they're plastic, but when you mix them in with sand, they look like pebbles when you paint them. Anyway, so that works quite well. So again, I think that adds a bit of interest to I'll use it, but I won't go out my way to use it. Rob says use salt for snow.
Okay.
You never used that, did you, Martin, when you had your snow fixation? Never used salt.
No. I'm not sure it would. Maybe like the ice crystally kind of stuff. But then obviously you don't really want to get it in any way wet. So
no.
How do you
Carthaginians you did your snow stuff for, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes. That company I found where their snow stuff was really reasonable. It's just the fact it looked like it was published by Pablo Escobar.
Literally.
But to be fair, I think AK's new snow stuff is just so easy to use and so just genuinely superior to that stuff now. I would use that, although I do I have snow? What am I doing that's on snow bases? I have some. Oh, my samurai are on snow bases, so I still use bits and bobs on that, or the odd model. But yeah, never tried salt.
No, nor me. And you haven't done that many winter figures, so I needed to. Gary, he's got another use for cocktail sticks. Good for gold and silver buttons on 28mm figures.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
I
haven't done that for ages. I did used to do that. I did that for my Napoleonics, but for some reason
I never thought about that. Now. That's a really cool idea.
Similarly with eyes, and I know some people use it for doing the dots on eyes as well.
Oh shit! And again, I never thought of that. That's such a good idea. That's a really good idea.
I mean, everyone looks really startled, but yeah.
But the better than they look normally when I do my eyes. They look like, well, my eyes all over the place. Benjamin started using short-haired IKEA doormats for roads, building bases, etc. Just give them a layer of modeling paste, some paint, and flock. Perfect. There you go. Another use for IKEA. I think doormats and mats and things like that you can get in, like pound shops and things like that. A real good source of bases and things for terrain. And
I always keep my eye on Tesco's because sometimes you just walk past and they're just like, "Oh, end of summer sale. We're getting rid of all of the garden equipment," and you just, they just put it on. I think doormats in there were like £5 for like a massive doormat the other day. So I went, but annoyingly it had like welcome written on
it. He also says tooth brushes are quite good for cleaning metal figures after filing off the flash. Pop them in a bowl of white spirit and scrub away with a toothbrush. There you go. Just make sure it's not the one you use in the evening. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, makes sense.
Sorry.
I nearly brushed my teeth with the toothbrush I use for cleaning my prints.
Oh,
I kept it down because I did that. I just made the mistake of, I'm just going to brush my teeth downstairs because I'm already down here. So I walked down and I just put the brush near each other and I put the other one on one side and I picked it up. But it didn't happen. But there was this moment of realization just before I put it in my gob. Yeah.
Oh, nasty. David Benson says, anybody else use silicon chalk for rivers and even roads?
Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I haven't used it for roads for, again, the reasons I've already set out. But like I did use silicon for the moat that I made around the castle.
Oh yeah.
The only problem is eventually it will just degrade, silicon does. But I mean, but yeah, it's good. I used some hardboard and just created used millput to create some banks, and then just painted it and then just put layers of silicon in there. I think that's a really good point actually. I think that cost about £7 because again, I wanted a half decent one that would not just degrade really quickly. I mean, eventually it did. In fact, it went during the house move. Because I found that that's the other thing. I must have used some dirt that I hadn't sort of sterilized properly when I was putting it on there because it was growing.
If you can hear running water, it's because I'm at the sink.
Thank God for that. Frank's miniature. Actually, he's come up with something that I was going to mention, but he's using it a different way. Permanent marker pens. 0.05 millimeter pens, very good for eyes.
Yeah,
I used to use them for lining around belts and things like that, and around shields as well. Really,
I got one of those guys. There we go. But it again, you've got to. Sometimes I feel like when people do, when you do eyes. So how do I put this? Sometimes I feel like it's not worth doing the eyes if they're not actually going to make the miniature look any better. Because I think sometimes, like when I do eyes, it comes out looking 10 times worse. So I just rather leave the eyes undone. A little bit like those Dead Man's Hand miniatures. I didn't bother doing the eyes on the guys on the gallows. It's like can't be bothered.
Especially with the one with the bag.
Horse, I did. Yeah, well, no, I didn't do the eyes on that. I went through layers before I put the bag on his head.
Hours and hours.
Hours and hours. But yeah, but whereas that guy on the horse, because there was lots of details on the miniature, I will have a go at the eyes, and I actually tried to have him looking in a certain direction. Sometimes when I've done eyes, I've just kind of done a hit and hope and then regretted it.
I must admit, I'm a bit the same as you because I make such a hash of the eyes. 99% of the time, I don't bother. But occasionally, if the model's really defined with the eyes, then I might have a crack if it's a skirmish game or single figure or something like that. But it rarely comes out looking that great. So I can't be bothered. But I do like a marker pen for lining things and just doing detail. Also, I used the coloured ones on the epic shields for the Punic Wars because it's just easy just to draw little patterns on there using them, and that worked really well. Mutton Chops has got another use for toothbrushes. This case, electric one. It says when stripping models, use an electric toothbrush. It's much easier than a manual one.
Very true.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
Fair enough. Oh, excuse me. I've just been using some glue on down my throat. Not literally. Andy said, I bought a bag of Builder's Sharp Sand in 1991 for £5. I'm not a quarter of the way through it yet. I think that's a bargain. That's an absolute bargain. Well done, mate. How about this one? So I know sometimes I've used kind of those cheap trees and things you get on Amazon and various things. I think it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be for children's zoos and things like that. And some of them work quite well. Some of them are absolute cack. But Robert said use an old Christmas tree from his table. I'm wondering. I'm assuming rather than the whole big one, I think he means the little tiny decorations you put on trees, because that would be a little bit outstanding than the 28mm table, I have to say. But yeah, those sort of. I look at some of those trees you see on cakes and things, and they just look so obviously fake and cheap.
Yeah,
I can't be asked with them, but I have seen people do a really good job. But then that definitely is in the realms of all that effort. I might as well just buy the real thing for the cheaper price.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but Andy's got another one. He says Dunelm Olive Rose. They're the way forward for cloths. Yeah. If I hadn't have bought loads of them in cloths, I probably would have gone that way. I used to use Subutio cloths. That was always a good one. Obviously not the side with the lines on it, because that kind of defeats the object rather. But yeah. Graham makes a good point with washers over £2. I know we're talking about 2p coins and versus washers, and 2p's are cheaper. Washers are magnetic, he says. That's
a good shout. Yeah, actually, which is a good point, because all of my storage boxes have A4 magnetic sheets in them. So there you go. Yeah, good shout. I meant that. Yeah, that was.
Of course you did. I knew you were going to say
that. Absolutely. Happy circumstance.
Lynn says, I'm planning on using Weed Eater string for wattle fencing. Weed Eater. I don't know what that is, but it sounds interesting. It seems like it should
do you know that? Do you know, like for the
like a strimmer?
The strimmer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, strimmer wire.
Stuff, isn't it? It's quite
classic. Yeah, but you can. Some people make
it. Manipulate it.
Yeah,
you put some cocktail sticks in, and then you weave that around the cocktail sticks.
Yeah,
you'll get you'll get some water fencing.
Actually, it would probably work quite nicely because it's a little firmer, isn't it? Sort of, it would hold its shape much better. So yeah, that's actually not a bad shout. I used just normal cotton for the rigging on the on those horrible Black Seas.
the horror.
God, flashbacks.
The Windy Bay game.
Oh God.
Simon's gone a bit extreme. He says school shirts make a nice flag once soaked in PVA. Do you let your kids wear it first, or you rip it off their back and do it? I don't know.
Got holes in them.
Any kind of material, I guess, would work like that. Just to, I mean, when I'm doing flags, I'll often use a bit of tin foil from the kitchen, just that, and put the transfer over the top of that, because that holds its shape really well. You do have to paint it white or something.
I never understand on it. I've never done that. I've just used paper and just put PVA. I've never done.
Yeah, but sometimes it's just like a bit.
Yeah, no, not you. Just like ordered the various things. So I just used the paper or thick paper, and
fair enough.
It was completely. Actually, quite. I was like, oh, I'm gonna give this a go. I've got a model where I've actually cut a flag shape out. Just haven't decided who's going to, out of tin foil. I haven't decided who's going to be bearing it yet.
I find it, if I can be bothered with it, because it is a bit fiddly, but it just gets a nice shape to me. I quite like it.
I wouldn't put in flags on anything.
we won't be consulting you on flags.
Yeah, I love it.
Same way as we won't be consulting you on drummers. Benjamin says black brush hairs from dishwashing brushes are great for antenna.
Okay,
very good.
Good shout.
I remember my uncle, when he used to make models, he used to replace all the plastic ones you got in the kit, and would take a bit off a broom or what have you, would replace the antennas on those. Yeah, works really well, and a bit more rigidity to them, and they stand up well.
Nice word. Good word.
Thank you. I've only had one beer, so that worked quite well. Jason, I love this one. I have a plastic layer from a Ferrero Rocher chocolates, which I use as a paint palette. Used it for about 20 years. The top is now totally flat with dried paint. Must weigh about a kilo. I like that. Well, I mean, I have to say, I often use those, when you're in there raiding those cheap kiddies shops for cheap paints and brushes. They do those plastic trays in there that are absolute peanuts. You generally get
little watercolors and stuff.
Yeah. A couple of paintbrushes for £1 or something, and I use those often. They're quite good. Which is a step up from the newspaper I used to use. So there you go. Anthony says he's used paper for cloaks in the past. Give it a thin coat of PVA and flex it into shape. That's probably a lot cheaper than those Weaves of War ones, but still quite effective. Yeah. Again, it's fiddly though, isn't it? It's fiddly. Old School says pine bark makes great stone ledges.
Oh, okay. That's
cool. Yes, I could see that. Would you not have to treat it? It's still wood, isn't it? The bark itself. Yeah, you would.
If you
be able to just take it. You wouldn't just be able to
do something with
it. I'd imagine as well, even if you got it out of the bag, maybe. Do you reckon it's treated if you do that? And, might tell you on the packaging actually. So I know it's meant to last, but it still goes mouldy, doesn't it? Over time, it still gets shitty.
Yeah, but is that just because it gets wet and outside? I don't know. I think oh no, man down.
Saigon Brown.
Yeah, I think you'd have to do something to it.
G6.
Oh dear, we got an accident.
He's done fucked it up.
Graham has seen the paper cloaks and gone with metal toothbrush. Oh jeez, it's gone everywhere, mate. Love it.
I mean, not everywhere.
That's it. Actually,
well, what did you spill?
What did you spill?
I spilled a whole bottle of Saigon, a new bottle of Saigon Brown.
Oh no!
Because I dropped. I mean, that will. If you will drop a blacksmith shop on a bottle of contrast paint.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
Also, it's the last pissing timber as well of all these bloody medieval buildings. I've gone the whole way. I've painted half of fucking St Albans and not spilled anything.
Bloody hell. He said he got his bark from the ground below a pine tree. How does that work?
Okay.
Surely it goes rotten, doesn't it? Doesn't it? I would think it needs to be treated in some way. I don't know how you treat that, but anyway. That's
Hey
what
ho.
I'm thinking, Steve. You can get bark from florist supplies.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's cheaper or not, but it that will be safe to use. I would have thought. Don't know. Anyway.
I got a load
Just to warn you,
Oh,
just to warn you, I've got 1% on my battery on my phone, and I can't get the charger because it's in Sophie's room. So if it dies,
Bye.
we've only got 3 minutes left though.
Right, let's. Oh well, let's do some pictures, shall we? And then we can hopefully get rid of Ken. Sorry, I mean then Ken might disappear. Right,
I'll see it crack on anyway.
Yeah, that's true. So, reminder: if you haven't already joined it, the Facebook page links down below. We love seeing everybody's work and games and progress on the various things, and as always, the sheer variety of stuff people are working on just is astounding. So I've just picked up a few pictures from there, not by all means not everything, and trying to just take a nice snapshot of what's happening. So I'm going to start with Alex's work on this. Look at that.
lovely.
Oh, lush!
Isn't that fantastic?
That's one of the
Oh, there it goes.
that's one of the Victrix ones.
Is it one of the Victrix ones? Oh, okay,
Yeah, you
cool.
can use that pose, a radio operator, or you can be firing a Panzerschreck. Gives you lots of options for it.
That's really cool.
That is awesome. Really nice model. Really nice model. And beautifully painted, obviously. Andrew was showing off his Napoleonic battle.
That's a very nice looking game.
That's a proper one. Austrians against French, trying to force the bridge. Very good. Now that's a nice wheat field. How do you feel about that one, Martin? Looks like it wraps around the dead cow that's there.
Yeah, that's like teddy bear fur, like mine.
Yeah,
that's totally cool. Yeah,
That's
it
fine.
is. Why didn't I use the paint after spilling it and then mopping it up? Because it was flowing towards me in like a tidal wave, and I didn't want to risk the wrath of my wife and around the carpet.
Oh, dude. Yeah, good plan. Don't incur the wrath of Haley. Now, I love this picture from Bill. This was a campaign, a battle that he was playing out. Because I thought this is great. It's a nice sort of scenic thing from a village. But when you look at the buildings, they're boxes. They're little boxes. Look at them. So it's
really nice.
all about making terrain and making it look, hobby hacks and all that. Those look like he's basically taken some suitable boxes and put cardboard doors and windows on the outside. And it's really effective. I love that. Really cool. Very nice. So I like that a lot. Alid has been going absolutely bananas. His ACW. I think we'll be seeing this at CrackCon, but that's his Union forces so far. Jeez. I mean, people have a go at me for being a bit productive, but I think Alid and Steve just knock me in.
They take batch painting to a completely alien level.
A whole different level. Absolute whole level. Craig was working on some of his Dead Man's Hand stuff, and I love this sheriff jail. That's just awesome.
Yeah, that's very cool.
His group of figures down below, which got cut off, but they look really good too. Fantastic job. Love the wood effect on that.
Looks really good.
I know I think we showed these once before, but Martin was having a game with his musketeers. His musketeers. Just is brilliant. Musketeers against the Mouse Militia.
That is so cool. It really is.
Just brilliant. Ian's been added another couple of regiments to his Napoleonic Russians. I thought that'd give you palpitations, Steve.
That's just chest pains right there.
Yeah. It's a lot of green and it looks great. Really like it. Fantastic stuff. Steve has been playing some silver bayonets. Now that priest looks remarkably unfazed by the green troll coming towards him, doesn't he?
Yeah,
that troll looks like he looks like Blanca from Street Fighter. That's really good. I like that.
Fantastic, isn't it? Love it. Really cool. Warren, I mean, he showed lots of weird shit, but this, I like these. These are his 15mm Conflict 47 Stuarts with the Tesla turrets on. Really nicely done. Very nice. It's obviously been painting outside. Looking at that, looks like an outdoor table there. I don't know what these are. Something to do with Nexus of Grief from Pete.
Oh, no, that's very cool. It's like the undead terrain, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Just thinking about the mausoleums. That's very cool. I like the ghostly look of it. Really nice work on the sort of skulls. It's actually, I like how he's actually got like different tones on there, and that really is. Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't look like there's an awful lot of colours in there, but he's probably used an awful lot of colours to make it look like that. It looks fantastic. Really, really good. I love these ogres from Roy.
Yeah, nice.
Very.
Yeah.
Very nice indeed. And then finally, because this just got me very excited, and I don't know why, Bill showing off his battle between his sea people and the Iberians. This is a biblical period battle, which I just think looks amazing. Amazing.
Very cool.
So there you go. It's a few options. Oh, we have lost him. Thank God for that. I thought he'd never go. So there you go. That's that's some of the selection from Facebook. So we are over time, gentlemen, and we didn't get through all the comments. So thank you to everyone's comments. I hope everyone was making notes, because there was lots of good stuff there around things, and a couple of things I'm definitely going to try. A couple of things I'm definitely not going to try. Just there you go. There you go. Mutton Chocks has got something useful for you, Martin. Probably a bit late now. Use a medical syringe for sucking up spilt ink or contrast paint.
It was heading towards the computer, so no. I do have some medical syringes, actually, so it's not bad. That's actually not a bad plan. I think that that could have.
I have one on standby just in case.
I mean, I do have a pipette here, but I didn't want to. Yeah, that's not going to work. Just put it in one little drop at a time.
Apparently, the priest was a bloody mess the next turn. The troll was from War Bases. Fantastic. There you go. Right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. Hope you found some useful out of our incoherent rambling. But really good to have all the input from everybody. Thanks for all the suggestions. If you want to add any more, put them on the Facebook post below, because it'll be share some of the ideas that people have had, because I'm sure people will find that really useful. I certainly have. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time as always. Next week we're over with me. We're over with me next week because we've got Mike Peters, author of Here's the Ruckus, who's coming on to join us, because War Games Illustrated are about to publish his sort of next set, which is called Assassins and Templars. So taking Ruckus into the Crusades and into the Holy Land, and it's actually been. He's worked quite closely. There's a book that's just come out called Assassins and Templars, or Templars and Assassins. So he's going to chat to us about how he's sort of the historical basis for what he's done, but also still making it a fun game, because I do like me some Ruckus. And of course, then he will be at CrackCon with that 6 days later. And then obviously the one after that, we're going to be recovering. So you'll have to do without us that Monday. And then at the end of the month, we're over with Steve about what changes we'd like to see in the wargaming industry. That should be interesting. That's just going to be, I might be ill that one. That's like negative. It's like every negative post is going up a positive one. So join. We'll be over on my channel next week. Brilliant. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and stay safe and stay well. Have a really good week, and we'll see you next Monday. Have a good week. Bye.
Bye, everybody.